All right, guys, in this video, it's gonna change your entire life. This is the video that you've been praying on. Let me tell you why. Because I was a person who had to run my head into the wall to figure out a lot of this information. On the internet right now, we have a lot of people that are on ChatGPT, Googling how to do all of these different things, but they haven't really done them, okay? These things I really accomplished over the first 3 years of my career, so that in year 4, I made $1.2 million as a high-ticket salesman, and you can too. My name is Ian Macklin. I'm the president of the Elliott Group. I currently have over 80 plus sales coaches that work for me. Some of them have achieved the same type of result, and I've taught thousands of salespeople these same frameworks and these same beliefs, and they're achieving the same thing too. But faith without works is dead. So you can have faith in wanting to become something, but if you're not willing to work, if you're not willing to do it, if you're not willing to change, if you're not willing to grow, then it won't work for you. This has worked for so many other people. So today I want to encourage you to give it your all, to give me your mind for a few minutes, to take these things and not just learn them, but live them in your business. Because if you do, it can change everything. And here's the thing, I don't care if it has never happened in your company. I was the first one to break the 4-minute mile in my company, and then people broke it all after me. You can be that person too. Somebody has to have some incredible belief, some incredible hope, and some incredible faith matched with some incredible work ethic. And if you have that, you will break the 4-minute mile. You will be the person that makes $1 million, and it can happen for you. Let's get into it and let's go. All right, guys, today I'm gonna give you the tactical tips that you're gonna need to elevate your career if you wanna achieve something big. Now listen, let me tell you really quickly who I am. My name is Ian Macklin. I've got a twin brother. He's usually with me. His name is Evan Macklin. We've been in sales today going on 17 years. What I'm gonna show you today has a lot to do with my past. What does that mean? That means that I've been in sales a long time. So if you're in high ticket sales and you're only making 30, 40, 50 grand a year, don't get discouraged. It could just mean that it's gonna take a little bit longer for you, or it could mean that you're missing some information. I've been on this personal growth journey since I was 18. I'm going on 36, okay? Actually, I just had my 36th birthday. Now that's crazy because I don't even remember having it. When you get old, that's how it goes, okay? So, but in order for me to achieve earning over $1 million, 1.2 million in my 3rd year, there were some dramatic shifts in identity, some dramatic shifts in sales process, some dramatic shifts in follow-up that you need to understand in order to do that. Now I'm a father, I'm a leader, I'm a husband, I'm a salesperson. There's a lot of stuff going on, and so there's a lot of noise out in the world too. We've got AI coming into the industry. We've got all these different things. So how do you break down the noise of your career, of your life, and actually be able to go into your business and start earning 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10x the money? Today's about that. Now, this is not a chat GPT. I just put this in and decided to regurgitate content. This is just what I've done. When we first started out, we didn't really have an offer, okay? We started out in Oklahoma. I was Andy's first salesperson. That means, man, the business didn't even really exist. That means we didn't even really have a lot of the things figured out. We didn't even have a CRM. We didn't even have a real understanding of what we were doing. We just had hearts, we had faith, and we had belief. That's the first step to anything, is you gotta have the heart, you gotta have the faith, and you gotta have the belief, okay? Now, you may not go start your own company like we did. You can go out and find a lot of the companies that are already started, or maybe you're already in one, and I'm gonna talk to you today. Step number 1, you have to be able to find an offer that you're aligned with, okay? I see guys that are in fitness coaching, but they don't even really believe in fitness. They're on a virtual sales team, and they're answering sales calls, and they're like, let me sell you something that I'm not doing. Listen, you're gonna have to be convicted about what you're doing. When I first met Andy, I was struggling, man. I had some identity issues. I was making money. I was doing better than I'd ever done, but I had this like hole in my heart. And Andy came into my life, and he was my life coach, and he was showing me things that actually helped me with my identity and grow in my belief in who I was. And man, it changed my life. It changed my lens. It changed my perspective. It changed how I felt about myself. And because it changed how I felt about myself, when I looked at him, I thought, man, if you could do this with me, you could do this with everybody else in the world. It would change millions and millions of lives. So step 1, I believed so deeply in the product. I was using the product. He had just started out. He didn't have a brand. He didn't have billions of views. He didn't even have an office. We worked in a house, but I believed in the person, okay? So you must be convicted in whatever you're selling. If you're in real estate coaching, you should be in real estate. You should be actively studying real estate. You should actively be using the product that you're in. If you're in fitness coaching, but you have no passion about fitness coaching, you really shouldn't be in fitness coaching. You should be in something that you're 100% convicted on, okay? Because when you're speaking from a place of conviction, or when everything starts to crash down, like you're like, man, today sucks. I don't want to go to work today. I don't want to do this today. You're going to have those days where you just don't want to do it. But you know how many people go back to the starting line every 2 years, every 2 years, every 2 years, every year, every year. They got 950,000 different jobs. When you believe in the one thing that you're doing, and it's no longer a job, it's a mission, it's a lifestyle, and it's a true belief. I knew every day on the hardest days when we were trying to create this, it was so damn hard. I knew that I was changing lives. I knew that I wanted somebody to feel how I felt inside. So on the hardest days, I didn't quit. Now, I've been able to make millions of dollars up until today, but I'm telling you, there was people that were sitting next to me and the same offer, the same ability that I had, the same coaching that I had from Andy, the same things, the same tools that quit. You know why? Because they weren't really totally convicted on what they were doing. You must be totally convicted on the mission that you're on. You must be totally sold. And when you are sold, nothing will come against you. You will ride through those storms. And if you're going through a storm, I want you to write this down. I want you to write this down. There's always a winter after a summer. That means you might be in summer right now. It might be all good. Go harder. There's a winter coming. And when that winter comes, you're going to have to be convicted. If you're in winter right now, there's always a spring coming. There's always the patterns. There's always the seasons. And so if you're in winter right now, focus. Have more intention and have more attention. If you have more intention with whatever job that you're in, high ticket sales is what we're talking about. But you could be in any sales. If you have more intention with that thing and more attention to that thing, winter will cycle through and you will be in summer, okay? But make no mistake about it. If you skip this first step and you go out there and you try to work for some regular offer that you don't believe in, that you haven't tried out, you're not truly a part of in your heart, it'll just be another thing that you're selling. You'll get on the phone, you won't be having fun with it, you won't be giving it everything you got, and you'll end up going to something different. When I get on the phone with somebody, they know I 100% believe. There's a difference between like saying you believe and truly believing. I want to tell you the word persuasion, it's the number one word that everybody talks about in sales. What is it? This is what it is. It's not the words that you say. We can all have word tracks. I'm going to go over that here in a second. But it's how you believe in the words that you say. And you can't believe in the words that you say if you're not really sold on it. So step one, start with an offer that you truly love. Maybe that you've invested in. In my company today, I will not hire a salesperson if they have not come through our program. You know why? Because how are they going to go sell something to somebody that they haven't experienced themselves? Like if you're in fitness and you're overweight, but you haven't got in shape through your own product, that's weird. Like nobody's going to buy it from you. They're not going to see it in you. So they're selling it and living it. In this program, I live this discipline. I live these standards. I live this sales culture. I live what our product talks about. I live this transformation. And because I have that transformation, it's a deeper sell when I'm talking to somebody. So step one, your offer. Step number two, it's your identity. I see a lot of people that are in high ticket sales. Maybe they're offering a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 product and they struggle with selling it. Do you know why? It's because of their identity. They haven't done the internal work. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in myself. Now listen, I invested before I even had the money. I remember taking a personal loan out from Desert Federal Credit Union when we were opening this business and I was losing everything. And I said, man, I got to go study this. I got to go study this. What's my foundation going to be built on? Because I was a car salesman that had all of these sales tactics, but that wasn't going to help me in business coaching. That wasn't going to help me in strategizing how to get people unstuck out of their problems and truly mastering the art of sales. I was a guy that was a master bullshitter. I knew how to sell, but I didn't know how to articulate that to everybody else and make sure that they could get unstuck. I wanted to become the world's greatest coach. So I built a foundation. I said, here's my life by design. Here's exactly what I'm going to do. And you know what I did? I went and studied every single one of those things. I have my next class coming up at Harvard University. I got kicked out of school and went to an alternative school because I just couldn't understand traditional education. I had too much energy. I was unfocused. I was all over the place. And you know what? They didn't like it. And I was just an undisciplined kid. And you know what? I couldn't believe that a person like me could go take classes at somewhere like that. But you know what? When I'm around people that know something different than me, it raises my identity. Write this down. If you want your identity to grow, which your self-worth will determine your net worth, the more you grow personally in your heart, the more you see the world differently, is the more money that you're gonna make. If you're gonna ask somebody to spend 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 with you, well, then you have to get your identity up to be able to ask for that. So you have to get your information up. When you have more information inside of who you are, it's going to help you to be able to articulate different things to different customers. It's going to help you to understand the different avatars that are running around in your industry. And if people aren't buying from you right now, or people are only buying the cheaper product from you right now, it's likely because you have an identity issue. And when you have an identity issue, it bleeds into a self-worth issue, and that bleeds all over your life, okay? So identity, are you investing in yourself? I'm going to this class, and I'm going to be around people that are way further in education than I am. You know what that does for me? It brings my identity from maybe in that area from an 80 to 100, right? Because I'm like, man, it's like your internal thermostat grows the different people you're around. If you get around me in sales, I'm a level 10 black belt. You get around me, I can walk you through any type of sales methodology, strategy, how to close, all of these different things. It's just natural for me because I've been doing it for 17 years, okay? But if you're not that, and you're at a level 4 of sales and you get around me, you're naturally gonna raise your identity. Listen, if I'm an 850 credit score and you're a 450 credit score and we go out to eat and we're talking about finances and different things, I'm naturally gonna give you strategies that are gonna help you raise your identity to where you can leave that meeting knowing how to become an 850 credit score, okay? If you go to dinner with me and I'm in shape and you're out of shape, and let's say I order grilled chicken and you're looking over at me, it's probably likely that you're not gonna order chicken fried steak and a bunch of mashed potatoes and shit like that because you're gonna be seeing what's at the table. Imagine me and Andy sitting there and then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna order mashed potatoes and gravy and all this other shit. It's not gonna happen. It has to do with the information that you have. It has to do with the people that you're around. And when you have those things, you can change your beliefs. And when your beliefs change, your identity changes. I can walk into any conversation. I'm like, man, this is $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. Why? Because I've spent that type of money on myself in my personal development journey. If you're broke right now, that's okay. Learn to spend $10, $20, $50, $100, $200, $500, $1,000. Start somewhere. The greatest thing that I ever did when I was 18 years old was I flew down to a seminar in Miami. I slept on a beach. I literally didn't even buy a plane ticket back because I didn't know that you had to. I went down to this seminar. Everybody at my store was telling me how to sell, 5 cars, 10 cars a month. I'm like, this guy's saying 50 online. I fly down there. I get some information that changed the history of my life. I couldn't believe what they were saying versus what these other people were saying. It was two different worlds. I was kind of like just taken back of how off that they could be from each other. This person's living in scarcity. This person's living in abundance. This person's driving, a 94 Honda Accord. This person's driving a brand new Bentley. Same jobs. I was making $50,000, $60,000 in car sales. The guy next to me is making $3, $4, $5 grand. Why? Well, we have the same thing. He would come to me and say, hey, Ian, I want to learn what you know. I would tell him a couple things and he would go back to his normal life. There's a whole new life that you have to learn, and there's a whole new commitment level that you have to get. And when you get around these types of people, get everything that they know. Stop thinking the way that you think and start thinking the way they think, okay? And you'll watch your levels change. In that seminar, everything changed for me. I learned a couple of things that changed my entire life. I had to take a loan from a credit union to get down there. I honestly couldn't believe that a credit union gave me a loan. It kind of shocked me because I didn't even know what it was. It was actually on my credit report for a lot of years because I never went back and paid it because I just didn't even know that I had to, okay? I didn't even know that it was like something that I had to do. I just left the credit union. They gave me the $800. I spent it, and then I'm like, I didn't even know. When I was down there, I had no money. I went to another credit union. They gave me some more money. I used that to get home to Denver, where I was from. I didn't even know these things. I didn't even know, but you knew what I knew? The guy that was driving the Bentley said, you need some different information from these people. Do you want to be like them or do you want to be like me? I said, like you. He said, invest in yourself and go to a seminar. I had to start somewhere. $800 17 years ago is spending $5,000 today, okay? Start somewhere. There's a thing called figure it out, and a lot of people don't have it in them, like figure it out. If I'm telling you something and you're like, oh, I'll skip over that one, you're out. You're never going to make it. If I'm telling you it and I'm 18 steps ahead of you, figure it out. Do it. Act fast. The person that can take action on some of these things is the person that's going to win. Your identity needs to go from like an 80 to 100. I watch high ticket salespeople get stuck all the time on asking 15, 20 grand because they've never spent 15, 20 grand. So if you're going to ask people for that, you've got to be able to start investing money to catch up to that. If you're going to ask somebody for $100,000, you damn sure better spend $100,000 on yourself. I spent $150,000 last year with PBD. I honestly couldn't really believe it. Why? Because I came from a family where that's what somebody made in 5 years. And now I'm spending it on a seminar. What? That doesn't even make sense. I'm spending it on a mastermind. Doesn't make sense. And because of that scarcity in my heart, I'm like, I got to get rid of that. I go out there and do that. I get some information. I get a network. I get results back from the market. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the way that I've got to go. This is exactly what I need to be doing. That 150 grand made me an extra million. Spend the money. If you don't, watch your life stay the same. Get around people that will help you change your identity, that will make it uncomfortable for you. A good coach is going to ask you to do things that are good for you, but that you don't want to do. And they're going to have conversations with you that you don't typically want to have. Okay? So if they're making it comfortable for you, get rid of that coach. Get around somebody that makes you uncomfortable. Step number 3, doctor versus patient sales mindset. I want you to listen to this. A lot of people go into a high ticket conversation, and we're selling real estate coaching, fitness coaching, sales training, something like that, whatever it is, the service. And they're advice monsters. They just want to barf on you everything that they know. And then you leave the conversation feeling like you're not heard. And anytime you have a sales process like that, customers are going to repel from you. They're not going to talk to you, and they are not going to remember you. And if that happens, you're definitely not going to make the money. So here's a simple sales process, and here's a simple mindset that I have. I'm like a doctor. They're like the patient. Okay? When somebody comes into my office, I'm the doctor, I'm asking them very specific questions. We're kind of flip-flopping the way that we're doing sales. When you walk into a car lot, the guy's like, here's what it is. Typically amateurs, here's what we got. Here's what it is. Here's how the car works for you. We're switching the mindset. I'm actually asking them questions so that they could sell me on why I should help them. I'm like, tell me about your shoulder, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. Tell me about why it feels this way. Can you raise your shoulder up? Can you move your shoulder over here? How has it been? How long has it been this way? Why is it this way? Have you had pain like this before? What have you done to try to fix this pain in the past? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm building an understanding of who they are. If you prescribe something as a doctor before you understand the diagnosis, that's called malpractice, okay? So like in sales, I watch a lot of people going and prescribing a solution. They say they're having trouble in sales training and you just jump down their throat, but you don't realize it's lead generation. You don't realize it's this. You don't realize it's mindset. You don't realize it goes 500 layers deeper. And sales isn't what you do to somebody, it's what you do for somebody. It's serving, not selling. A lot of people are just trying to sell you, and you feel that, and that's why sales sucks nowadays. You know, the number one problem in sales is because you want to sell somebody that you can't sell them. I go into a conversation so relaxed that I don't want to sell everybody. I honestly don't, because I understand the law of averages, and the law of averages states this. If I see 5 people today, 2 of them are going to buy. 3 of them might not be a good fit. But amateurs are trying to make everybody a good fit. And the reality is, not everybody is going to be a good fit. It's my job to go in there, diagnose who they are, understand who they are, really get to know them on a deeper level. Like if you see an iceberg comes out like just right over the top of the ocean, all of this underneath is really their buying motives. This is where we really get to know them. This is where we really see how anchored they are in to making this decision. And when you understand the gap, where they're at currently and where they're trying to go, whatever that gap is, it's a gap in their skill set. And when you understand what fixes that, and if you truly can help them, if you're selling them shit that really can't get them from here to there, then you're just a piece of shit salesperson. And no wonder you feel bad about yourself. No wonder you have a low integrity. No wonder you have a low frequency. I'm selling something that I know can take them from here to here, and I know it can change their life. And when I'm doing that, I have such a high frequency about it, but I am not going in there to tell them all about what I can do in that gap. My job is to go in there, number one, believe in that gap. Number one, be convicted that I can fix that gap if I can, but it's to understand them. And I want you to write this down. This is how you understand somebody. This is the only sales process that you ever need in your head, and this makes everything simple. You're going to have to ask questions. Questions, conversations, relationships, opportunities, sales. Questions. Most people can't listen. That's the reason why they can't sell. Most people are just trying to talk and respond intelligently. You ask a question, they respond, you're thinking about what to say, and you're not present. People that aren't present, they never win. If you're present in the conversation and you're really getting to know them inside of the conversation, that leads to a conversation. Questions, conversations. I'm asking good questions. How long have you had this problem? Why did you have this problem? What brought you here today? What motivated you to be here with us today? What motivated you to want to have this conversation? That's a great one. When they say these types of things, my job is to listen. Now listen, I love to talk. I love to connect with people. But in a sales conversation, I love to listen more than I speak. The rule of thumb is your prospect should be talking 70% of the time and you should be talking 30% of the time. If you start to know there's like a meter and you start to know that that person is talking a whole lot less than you and you're talking way up here, you need to adjust that meter. You need to adjust it. You need to quickly flip the script and say, they're not being heard. Your favorite person on this planet is you. That's it. You want to talk about you. You care about you. You don't care about all the things that I have to say and all the convincing that I have to do. Amateurs are trying to convince. Pros, they're not. They're trying to listen, okay? So number one, questions. Ask good questions. Listen good. Don't listen with that intent of just responding intelligently. Listen with presence. Ask questions that really truly matter. Build rapport with inside of their problem. Stop building rapport on the weather and where they live and all this other shit that doesn't matter. Listen, when you ask them a question and you can start to feel that pain, you can start to feel that grip that they got on that question, go deeper on that question. That's where you build real rapport. Well, tell me about this lead generation problem that you've been having. Well, man, I go home and because I'm not generating leads and I feel like I've got this problem. And wait, hold on. You're telling me that because you're not selling, it's transferring into your mindset, it's transferring into your home, and it's transferring to all these things. So check back in with them. Did I hear you correctly? Yeah. So this lead generation problem you're having, it's not just a problem with your sales, it's becoming a problem in your relationship because you're going home unfulfilled. What does it feel like when you're going home and you've sold 5 different products and you're on fire and the pipeline's full? Dude, you're on fire. So what you're telling me is that this is so much deeper than just lead generation. Is that what you're saying? And I'm asking, is that what you're saying or am I off? He says you're off. Okay, my bad. He says you're on because typically I'm on. That allows me to build a deeper conversation and it allows me to build rapport with inside of my conversation. You've got to be curious. Curiosity is the number one thing that I see most people just don't have. Listen, when you're an expert, you're asking questions and you're getting them to lower their barrier. There's a fence. Like imagine a fence. Hey, what's going on? Ask them some questions. Get that fence lower. Listen, get that fence lower. Why are you here? Why did you buy this house? What made you move into this house? What made you move into this area? That fence should be going lower and then we can connect with them. Questions, conversations. If I put 2 amateur salespeople next to each other, what you're going to see is they talk about nothing. When I put 2 pros next to each other and somebody walks by their conversation, you're like, oh my God, I want to be inside of this conversation. What's going on? Like, this guy's amazing. Wow. What's this conversation? It's intriguing. They know how to conversate. They know how to connect. You got to be a master connector if you want to make $1 million. Master connector. And there's a lot of people, they don't know how to become a master connector. What's your body language look like? What's your eyes look like? What's your fire look like? What does your words look like? What's your tonality look like? These are all little subsets of communication that you have to look like. What's your eyes look like? Are your eyes smiling? Are you alive? Listen, when you're progressing in life, you're on fire. When you're not, you aren't. There's 4 parts of your nature: mind, body, heart, and soul. When your mind's on fire and your body's on fire and your heart's on fire because you're feeling with God, the Bible, amazing things, and your soul's on fire, you look different. You feel different. You like you. And when you like you, you sell better. When you don't like you because you're doing things behind the scenes that you don't like about you and you're not living in alignment with who you say you are to the world, it creates internal frustration. How do I know? Because I've been internally frustrated 1,000 times in my life and I've diagnosed it in 1,000 people. When you are living at the standard that you believe you should be living at, not money. I'm talking about standards. I'm talking about the things that you know you shouldn't be doing, you are not doing. And when you are living in that alignment, you're able to sell everybody. You know why? Because you like you. Questions, conversations, relationships. When you have those relationships, now you can make an opportunity. It doesn't happen any other way. And those relationships are because somebody actually truly likes you. Somebody actually truly has gotten to know you and they've actually fallen in love with you. That's a good thing. That's the greatest thing that we can hear as a salesperson. You know why? Because they finally actually opened up. And you know what? Nowadays, people don't care. They talk about, oh, it's just another lead. We call them lives here. You know why? Because we actually really, truly want to help people. When you're in it for you, you never make any money, especially in high ticket sales. When you're in it for other people, you're dangerous. I tell my team all the time, I say, dude, if you're just chasing money, you'll never find it. But if you're chasing impact, you will find it, and you will guaranteed make somebody's life change. And when you do that, that's the highest form of gratitude. Gratitude at a really basic level is waking up and saying, man, I love you, God. Thank you for all these things. That's amazing. We got to have that. Selling from a place of gratitude is a whole different thing. When you're watching somebody's life change because of something that you did, highest form of gratitude. You are on fire. That way, when you go to make a presentation, an offer, you're selling from a different place. So write this down. You have to make it easy to say yes to, hard to say no to, and you have to make it their idea every single time. But you will not make it their idea if you don't understand them on a deep level. And in order to do that, you have to be very curious, okay? It's like a kid. Kids going in there and they're always asking, oh, why this? Why? They're the most curious person. We can all be more curious. So if you can do that inside of your sales process, sales will become easy. Customers will get to the end of a Zoom or an end of a relationship with you, and they will say, so how do we start? How do we get started? They should always say this: I like me better when I'm with you. I like me better when I'm with you. If they feel that way about you, they will buy. Sales is 80% emotional, how they're feeling, and 20% logical. Logical, they're going to want to justify it with money. We need to handle a couple of objections. Simple. You should know the top 5 objections in your industry. Emotional, they're trying to see if they really like you. They're trying to see if they believe you. Everybody has the means to do something, okay? Everybody has the means to say yes to something. They just do. It's 2026. The national debt is $38 trillion, okay? The world debt is $380-something trillion. Everybody can figure out if they want something, how to get it. It's just if they want to do it with you. And that's up to you to make that impression to get them to say yes. And the better that you are at doing that, the better you are at communicating, the higher your money goes. The better that you understand people and the better that you understand your words, you're going to see the money increase. Okay, number 4, follow-up. This one is super important, and this is where the real money's made. And you know, honestly, I see the stat of the average salesperson follows up with somebody 2.7 times. That's just freaking crazy, like that you would follow up only 2 times with a customer. And most salespeople are just following up like amateurs, so they're just calling them back. Listen, I want you to get intentional with follow-up. Okay, grab your iPhone. If you got a Droid, this ain't for you, okay? If you got an iPhone, this is for you. Okay, you can go down to right under the messages. You can send that little video game, like the little pool game. When somebody's not answering me, I will send that little pool game. I'm like, hey, bro, join me on playing games since you want to play games. And I'm just messing with them. I'm like, I'll beat you in this game. I'm messing with them, right? I'll send somebody $5 on Apple Cash. Hey, here's $5 for your time. Jump on the phone. Like, they want to see that you are totally committed to them. Think a little bit differently. Follow up, not like a normal salesperson. If I heard somebody say something and they're like a Bronco fan and I just saw the Broncos win, by the way, I'm a Bronco fan. We killing it. Let's go. If you're a Raiders fan, get off the channel. If you're a Broncos fan and I just saw that within you, I might send them a clip of one of the Broncos talking about a past interview of the game or something that they may have never even seen. I might go on to Instagram and type Broncos and then be like, bro, did you just see that game? That was crazy. Why? Because it's just getting a touch. An object at rest stays at rest unless acted on by an outside force. The only thing I learned in freaking high school, okay? What's that mean? Newton's law. You're going to have to push on that thing to get the thing going. And sometimes it just stays there. And then you're like, man, how do I engage this person? So you just call. And they're like, oh, I don't want to answer that guy's call. I don't want to answer that guy's call. I don't want to answer that guy's call. Look to add value. Go onto their social media. I just saw that their kid just graduated from Michigan State. I might go on and I might just send them a Michigan State jersey from the football team because I know he's into football. His son just graduated from Michigan State. You think he's going to call me back? Yeah. Some of you, you're just thinking about you and you're not thinking about investing in your customers. You're not thinking about any of that stuff. You've got to invest to get people to move forward. And if you're putting money into it, then it just shows people that you're really committed to the relationship. I'm going to give you a couple really good follow-up tips, okay? Number 1, Selena, she's one of our top coaches. I watched her follow up with corporations for years, create a lot of reoccurring revenue. She would send them a phone. She would go on to Amazon.com and buy these like old droids because, well, you can buy new droids for like 100 of them for $1, so it don't matter. I'm just kidding. If you're a droid guy, don't be getting upset and canceling the channel and dropping mean comments and stuff, okay? She'd go buy old droids, Nokia phones. Some of you guys that are older than 35, you know what I'm talking about. Old Nokia, okay? Listen, that Nokia phone, she would grab some of those. She'd wrap a piece of paper around it. By the way, she bought like 500 phones for like $50 or something. It like cost her nothing. And she'd wrap a piece of paper around it and she put, since your phone isn't working, I sent you a phone, call me. Everybody would call her. I probably ordered 1,000 pizzas for car dealers and other places. Still to this day, I just sent somebody $400 worth of pizza. You're like, that's a lot of pizza. They got 60 salespeople. We're going to feed them all a couple pieces, okay? And I said, hey, pizza place, can you remove one of the pieces of pizza and put Ian and Andy Elliott are the missing piece and my phone number? They did that from all the boxes of pizza. The team is taking pictures of it, tagging me on social media like, these guys are so creative. This is awesome. If you're doing stuff like that, people are going to think about you different, okay? My brother had a customer, and the customer's like, and this changed our business like 4 years ago. Crumble Cookie was just coming out. It was super popular. And I remember this guy's like, hey, I got my kids here. I'll decide on this like $50K deal with you guys here in the next couple of days. Just let me follow up with you. Okay, boom, whatever. Not everybody's going to close on one call, especially when they're 50, 100, 250, 300, $2 million, $5 million deals. Okay, like we're closing. So he says, cool, man, sounds good. What are your kids' names? Boom, boom, boom. Hey, I'm going to also send you something to your address. What's your address? Boom, 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 sends his address. Sends him Crumble Cookies. Kids' names on it. The kids get the cookies. Dad's videotape on it. We got 1,000 of these. Like, so I've got 1,000 videos of these happening. You've probably seen them all over social media if you follow me, because I'm always sharing them. And he goes, the kids are going nuts for the Crumble Cookies. Like, you see kids, they're like, yeah, oh my God, this is awesome. Like they've never had cookies before. They eat Crumble Cookie like 3 times a week, you know? But he sends that video and he goes, these are the most expensive cookies I've ever bought. Run the 50K. Just like that. Why? Because he was just thinking differently than everybody else. Your power has to be in that you're creative as a salesperson. When you're just chasing money, that's a low frequency. So you think low frequency, you act low frequency, you get perceived like you're low frequency, and you're not putting any of that vibration out into the world. So when people see you, they just see a normal sales guy. The guy that's walking around the furniture store like, how can I help you? The guy that's walking around the car lot, oh, I haven't made any sales. How are you? You don't want to deal with that guy. You want to deal with the person that's sending you stuff, that's having fun, that's excited, man, that loves his business, that's following up with you through those creative ways that I told you. If you're doing things like that, customers are going to say yes, okay? When we first started out, I was losing all my money. I'm going to be honest with you. In the first month that we opened this business, I lost my sister. She had 3 kids. So there was a lot of inherited expenses there because we didn't have life insurance, this thing, that thing, this thing. Lost my grandfather the next month. Also, I was making a lot of money as a car salesman. I've had huge months. I mean, giant months. I also wasn't good with my money. Even though I made a lot of money when I was in car sales over the term of my career, every time I made more money, I was a salesman. My lifestyle went up, right? So it was like, I could save $100,000, $200,000, but like, I was always spending it. And I was always like fighting that. So when we got into this business, man, I'm making no money. We have no offer. We're selling a $29 Craigslist course. We're going door to door. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm losing 30 grand every single month because now I got my bills. I got these kids. I've got all of these things happening. I've got an apartment over here. I've got a house here in Arizona. I'm losing my mind. And you know what? I always still knew one law, reciprocity. If I could invest into people, if I could sow a seed into them, it would always come back to me. With faith. Like, not, hey, I need to send you this and I need to do a deal with you. Honestly, I didn't even care if you did a deal with me. I would send you something for a couple $100, even though I'm not making any money, and I just have faith that it would work out. And that's real faith, okay? We were on a Frontier Airlines flight one time during COVID. Nobody's on that flight. And I'll never forget, she came on the intercom and was like, oh, we're offering a special credit card, you know, and I'm like, dude, I got to max my credit out before I go bankrupt. Like, I got to take a couple credit cards out. Like, let's go. So I took a Frontier Airlines credit card. They gave me 10 grand. I spent that 10 grand on pizzas, on gifts, on all of these things I'm talking about, Crumble Cookie. I used that credit card to fund my investment into my clients as we were trying to build this business. And it was hard as we were building this business. In COVID, you know, I was a car salesman that was the best at what I did. by the numbers, I was one of the top in the history of that industry. I knew how to make a lot of money, and the average commission was $400 or $500 in my store. You know, like I've had, a couple $1,000 deals, but like those weren't that often, right? Those were typically a fluke. Something had to be special. The trade had to be bought at an astronomical low rate. The car, you'd have to sell it at an astronomical high rate, back end, like all of those things had to align. When we started this business, every car salesman in the country was making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. Every single one. The average deal was $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for every deal. It would have been much easier for me to go back to where I was from and do what I had already did, but I was convicted on where we were going. So it goes back to step number one. You've got to be convicted on where you're going. And if you are, I'm telling you, you're going to always stay with it. And you're going to do things like this, which is invest in your customers because you believe in it so deeply. You want them to experience it. You're going to pour love into them, reciprocity into them. Even if you don't have it, that's not faith being like, well, I don't have it, so I'm not going to be abundant. It's not how it works. You're going to have faith before the fruit shows up, okay? You're going to have to start planting those seeds before the fruit shows up. So current clients, we've got two different types of clients. We've got the clients that we're chasing, okay? So those are the clients that we're going after. We just talked about a lot of follow-up strategies for them. Then we got our current clients, okay? The people that have signed up with you, the people that believe in you, the people that you're going to establish a network around. You're going to establish a community around. The one thing that we've done at the Elliott Group better than any coaching company in the world is we've established a sick community. We have a seminar every single month, sometimes 2-3 times a month, and they all sell out. How? Why? Because we've created communities all around the world, and because people know it's real. When they come down here and they see this, they can't unsee it. They're like, what the hell was that? I thought it was going to be real online. This is 10 times realer. Why? Because we're investing in all of our clients. I'm constantly telling our sales team, our company is not paying for all of those investments. Our company invests on its own into our people, but we ask our sales team, we pay a giant percentage here. So we're like, hey, we pay you guys a great percent. You're going to invest in your own customers. And by the way, when we first started, I could have easily said, hey, Andy, I want you to pay for my flights. I've never had him pay for one flight. I've flown all around the world. I was maxing out all my credit cards, chasing him around, adding value to his life, add value to your founder's life, add value to your leader's life, add value to your customers, add value everywhere you go. That's the goal. And if you do those things, everything starts to work out. Same with your current customers in your community. Every Thursday, I follow up with my top 100 customer list. Top 100. There's actually a video that I'll connect right here that you're seeing right now, and it's how to work your top 100. You can go watch the video. It's amazing. It's like 20 minutes. It'll show you exactly how to work that system. But that top 100 customers, I've identified those as the people that refer me the most business and I do the most business with, that I share the right energy with, that I focus most of my time on, okay? You can't have more than 100 real relationships. You really can't have more than 20 relationships. I have to focus heavily on these ones every Thursday, and I have an executive assistant who literally is always finding what these people are doing on social, updating me all the time because it's 100 of them. And so I've been a cultivator of this community of the people who fight for me. If you fight for me, I'm gonna fight for you. I'm going out of town, I'm doing something cool, and I'm going over to this area. You're the person who's referring me business. I'm taking care of you. You're a customer. We're taking care of each other. I'm referring you people just as much as you're referring me because I'm dealing with a lot of business owners, so I got a lot of people to refer to them. Man, we're fighting, we're running at life together. Let's go. I'm going to Mexico here in the next few hours. I'm taking 5 of my clients with me. I'm taking 5 of them. You know why? Because those are the people that I roll with, okay? I still roll with a lot of these other ones, but these ones, they've established themselves different with me. They have a different level of a relationship. What are you doing for your people? Simple follow-up on Thursdays and saying, hey, I'm not going to sell on Thursdays. I'm not going to sell on Tuesdays, whatever day it is, and just sitting down and, hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, man? Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, how's your life going, man? Look at your questions, conversations, relationships, opportunities. In relationship category, are you going deeper with inside of those relationships? Like, where, when you show up for the day, do you ask yourself the question of like, I know this relationship has some untapped potential, and I'm going to go tap into that potential. I know that this conversation I need to have with this person I haven't had. Let me go have a conversation with this person. I know my relationship needs to get deeper with this person. How do I get deeper with this person? I was flying to Ohio recently, and I had a guy that I established as being one of my top 100. He's not there yet, but we've done a big deal together. He believes in me. I believe in him. He sent me a couple referrals. Our relationship's great. I said, hey man, I'm buying you a plane ticket, buying you a hotel. You're going to sit next to Andy on the plane, next to me and him. You're going to roll with us. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do this. And this guy that we're going down to see, I believe there's a strong chance that if you sign this one account, it would change your whole business. Yeah. And he's like, what? This is amazing. I can't believe you think like that. My brain thinks in creativity and my brain thinks in reciprocity. How do I constantly add value to other people? And when I'm constantly thinking that way, constantly things are chasing me. I watch a lot of salespeople. I'm like, how long have you been in the sales career? And they've been in for, say, 2 years. And I'm like, well, how many customers do you have to go? Like, you're obviously on a dialer. How many customers do you have to talk to a day? I've got to talk to 200 a day. I'm like, at 2 years, I'm not making any outbound calls. Okay. Year 3, I talked about that was the first time I made $1 million. First 2 years, I had to grind my ass off, knock on doors, go hard, because I didn't even have the skill sets yet. So at first, you don't have the skill sets, you don't have the follow-up sets, so you have to just grind. You have to spin your wheels for 1-2 years, not lose your mind, work really hard, and then your skill starts to catch up. And when the skill starts to match up and the skill starts to precede that grind and your brain starts to work a lot differently, you don't have to work as hard as you used to work. I'm not telling you not to. You've now established a different skill set, which allows you to build a different level of relationships. And the person with the most relationships, they always win. They can always work differently than people. But the number one thing most people don't have, talking to a salesman that's been doing it for a while, they're like, oh yeah, I still have to take ups on a car lot. I've been doing this 3 years. I'm like, how? Year 3, you'd have to beg me to take an up. You know why? An up means somebody just walked into the door and they're like, salesman to the front gate. I'd be like, hell no. Hell no. You know why? Because I had already built so many relationships. I'd already have 2-3 appointments coming in. People that already know me. Amateurs chase customers. Pros attract customers. So up front, you got to make all the calls. You got to do all the outbound effort. You got to do all this shit. Yeah, I'm not telling you you're not going to do. You're going to have to get good at that. You're going to have to get good at that. Chasing everybody. When you get to a pro level, you're attracting people. They're referred to you. They're through a network to you. They're through an ad to you. They're through follow-up to you. They're through a different strategy through you. And when you have that, you really graduate into a pro level. But all of these things like this current client follow-up, this repeat client follow-up, shutting off one day, ripping your pipeline apart, calling all the people that believe in you, doing that at Christmas time. I mean, we just sent out $17,000, $18,000 worth of gifts for Christmas to my top clients, okay? Just little wreaths that we sent out to every single client. Boom, boom, boom. Here, check this out. Here, we got this for you. What are you doing for your clients? Okay, I've always invested the money before I had the money. Okay, and then once you get the money, you should start setting aside something that creates an insane customer experience. Okay, it could be a handwritten note early on. Let's say you have $0. Handwritten note. That's nostalgia. People love that, and it just shows you care. A picture of them. Sign the picture. I love you. Thank you for coming in today. That's different. Nobody's seen that. If you do something like that, it's going to make them a customer for life of yours. And that's your goal. Your goal is not to just always be selling new customers. Your goal is that you're going to have some new people come in, but your goal is to be servicing a good book of business. And if you service a good book of business, you'll be rich. That brings me to number 5, referrals. Referrals are the lifeblood of real salespeople. But you're never going to get referrals unless you really know how to handle customers. So, when you have objections with customers, do you even know the 5 objections of your industry? Do you even know the discovery that you need to have? What does that have to do with referrals? Because if you can't take the pressure out of the deal, if you can't build a real relationship with a customer, you're never going to get referrals. They're never going to go say, hey to my buddy, hey, this guy is the best at what he does. I can't wait for you to talk to him because I believe in him so much. If they can't say that about you, then be prepared to be average your whole life. What does your discovery look like? What does your investment in them look like? What is all of that? All of that stuff matters. How do you handle objections? Do you know how to close them? Are you just so obsessed with this business of whatever business you're in that you're studying it all night long? You ain't even sleeping because you're trying to get it right. If that's you, you're going to watch referrals just pour in. My biggest deals have never come from advertising. The biggest deals in this company, they've come from referrals from customers that I've already done business with. And part of that is because if you're really helping people win, they'll stay with you. If you're not, and it's about you and it's about making money, they'll sense it just like everybody else. They'll pay some money and they'll move on. You pay me $1,000, my job is to get you $10,000. You pay me $20,000, my job is to get you $200,000. You pay me $1 million, my job is to get you $10 million. I just flew back from a customer that paid 7 figures for a deal that we did. And within the first 45 days of doing this deal, which is a year-long consulting deal with this guy, he said, man, I feel like I've already got 5 million from you. Like and he's crying. He's broken down. He's like, my business has changed. My life has changed. My process has changed. My systems have changed. Everything's changed. I'm like, dude, we're 4% in on this deal. Like, I love that. I love that. That means that we've done the right job by him. And before I ask for a referral, I want somebody to truly believe in me and what I'm doing, okay? Number 6, reoccurring. You got to have some type of reoccurring revenue. In our business, we sell companies. So we have a lot of reoccurring tied to a company getting onto a platform and a company growing. Also, companies hang out with companies. Entrepreneurs hang out with entrepreneurs. So I've got the most ridiculous resources for entrepreneurs to grow their teams. One of the reoccurring revenue sources I have is an AI tool that literally will go find the right people in the market, send them the right people. It will interview them through AI. They don't even need to talk to this person. By the time the person gets done with the interview, they know if this person is a great fit for their organization tied to data. So basically, let's say that you're in whatever industry you're in. We look at the data of like, how does a top salesperson operate? How does this person operate? What are the qualities that this person has? How do they think? How do they believe? And we have a predictive AI analytics system that can say, this guy matches up with a top salesperson, interview him. And they go through all these things. It would take an HR manager so long to go through 10 applications. I can go through them in 30 seconds. I can send them, I can automate the whole thing. Why am I talking about that? Because I can sell that software to a company and that company is going to pay a few $1,000s, and if they're paying that a month, that's a big reoccurring revenue stream, and it's a big win for them. Listen, even if you have great training, but you have the wrong people and you're a business owner, it doesn't matter how good the training is. Most business owners, their number one problem is that they have the wrong people, and they can have good training. It doesn't matter. They have the wrong people to start with. So we fixed the number one problem that was in entrepreneurship, which is the people. So when you're thinking about your offers or things that you're doing, are you solving a problem? And that's what sales is. Sales is somebody has a desire and it's your job to scratch it. That's it. It's your job to serve them. And then you're thinking about things, if you're a founder, how you can add that. Since we're a sales and leadership training company, I was going in and consulting people on how to sell, how to lead. And then I'm like, that guy's asleep. That guy doesn't give a shit. That guy has no desire. That guy has no power. He's literally a dead body walking. Like, I can't do anything with him. So I decided to go fix that problem, partner with some of the most brilliant minds in the world, and create this analytics system that is freaking going to change the way hiring is done forever, and now changing the world. But that's a reoccurring revenue source. So have a reoccurring revenue source. Have a community. In my school, I've got 22,000 people currently in the school. They get free training. They're on calls with me 3 times a week for free. I could charge $10,000 a month for that, okay? They're on calls with me, doing objections with me, doing all these things with me. Why? Because I just want to give them value. Everybody in the world wants something up front. I don't really care. I'm like, it'll come back to me. You know how many people just call me and say, hey, Ian, I saw that you're doing XYZ event. I'm in your school. I want to come to that event. And they spend thousands of dollars right there. I've indoctrinated them through the content, through what I'm doing, through the community that I have. They want to get closer, they can move up to a different community. We got different stages to it, but ultimately, I'm just pumping out free content. And when I'm doing that, I'm bringing them into a community where I can cultivate them all at once, okay? I don't even have to do it one-on-one. I can do it all at once. So do you have a reoccurring revenue stream? If you haven't, create one. If the offer you don't have doesn't have one, I'd find one. Because if you can build reoccurring, that's how you're going to start to build even more money, okay? So a portion of how I busted the million my 3rd year was I had some reoccurring. I didn't have an overwhelming amount of it. I'd say 20% of it, but that 20% is why I hit 1.2 million my 3rd year, okay? And it's one of the reasons why you can too if you have that opportunity. All right, guys, and number 7, outbound. Okay, I want you to go where your ideal client is, okay? So when I talked about investing in PBD conference, one of the reasons why is, number 1, I wanted to grow and learn. That guy changed our lives and really helped us create this business, right? We went to one conference. We got this idea. We were searching to get these systems and processes. We went deeper. We invested. We grew. Oh, my God. But on the other side of that is I'm sitting next to guys that when I'm investing, you know, $100,000, $200,000, I'm sitting next to people that are investing that same amount of money. okay? If I'm investing even $2,000 and I'm in the back of the room, that's okay. I can still get to these people that are making all of these investments. You can still see all of them around. And so if you go where your people are at, you know that they're going to be at these conferences, you know where they're at, you know where they're going to be, okay? If you do that, well, then you're always going to win because you're not just playing the lead game. You're playing a different game than everybody else. I remember in car sales, you know, there was this restaurant that we'd buy Mexican food on Saturday from. And they had like 15 Mexican restaurants. So I went up to the owner and he bought a few cars from me. I said, hey man, I don't know if you would do this, but I had this like crazy thought. What if I put a QR code like on, you have the little thing that stands on the table next to the menu and it has a couple like little local businesses. Could I be like the business amongst all 15 restaurants? Like, what would that cost me? And he's like, Ian, you do such a good job. I'll give it to you for free. I'm like, no, you can't give it to me for free. Fine, I'll wash your car. You're next door. I'll wash your car every day for you. And he's like, all right, well, free. Let's go. Like, let's do that. And he let me put a QR code in every restaurant. On that QR code, it just simply said, we will give you more money than your car's worth. Text here, scan, it's scanned. And then it asked them a few questions. I'd get emails. I'd get hundreds of emails a month. People just scanning, hey, what's my car worth? And I said, it'd only take me 2 minutes. I'd get on the phone with them real quick, right? I went where my customer was at. I thought differently than other people were thinking. When I'm going to different conferences, since I sell business solutions and strategies, I'm going where the people are investing in these types of things, okay? I'm in networks where other people like this are in these types of networks. I speak on a Tuesday to a local community where I live at. It's a very affluent area. And on Tuesdays, we get up, we talk about some of the different problems that we have in our businesses that we're facing, that we're solving. And then our goal is to help each other solve the problems within our network because we're all entrepreneurs solving problems. And a lot of the times I bought solutions from them for our business. I've spent a lot of money on those things, little masterminds. And a lot of the times, some of my biggest deals have come from those solutions. Outreach, okay? Outbound. And if you're early on, you might have to hit the doors. You're going to have the conversations. You're going to have to shake the hands. I see a lot of salespeople that they don't have this one thing. And it's called audacity. Audacity to get out there. Audacity to call your shot. Audacity to meet people. Audacity to get turned down and still keep showing up. Man, I was getting thrown out of car dealers and businesses and doctor's offices left and right when we were starting this business. You know why? Because I was the person that was just going to go make the handshakes, make the relationships, no matter what, and force my way into that door. And if you kick at that door long enough, I feel like you're going to show God that you want it and he's going to open that damn door. But if you're just kind of like, oh, yeah, I don't know why I'm not winning. Oh, I don't know why. I don't know if you're never going to get it. Go where the people are at. They're everywhere. They're all amongst your community. Add value everywhere you go. Add reciprocity everywhere you go. And you're going to see some of the biggest deals in history happen. I mean, I've got 5 different gym passes here in Phoenix. I go to these ones all for different things. Yeah, some of them I go to work out at. And then there's a couple that are in these very specific areas that I go in there. I hit the cold plunge. I go to the spa. Every time I'm in the spa, you know, I see the guy with this $80,000 Rolex on and I'm talking to him and he's got this business and I'm there to kind of relax. And, you know, next thing you know, we're talking about this and next thing you know, he's come up here on tour. Next thing you know, I can solve the solution that he has. Why? Because I was in the right place with the right people, and you can put yourself in the right place with the right people. I go to a certain restaurant. They have a certain table that I sit at in a certain place in Phoenix. You know why? Because in this area, it's where everybody goes. Paradise Valley. Everybody in this area, it's one of the most expensive zip codes in the world, and there's a specific restaurant that I go to, and I got this specific table that's in the middle of the restaurant. Why? Because everybody walks by my table. Everybody's like, oh yeah, you're that guy. And my branding is always out there, which brings me into step 8. Branding and outreach. Kind of the same thing, but a little bit different. Outreach, branding. I started getting these shirts made when we started the company, okay? You'll see in our company, everybody has all these different styles. Like this one's aloe. And I didn't like how some of these ones that Andy bought fit, just to be honest with you. My body type was a little different than his. I was 120 pounds at the time, emaciated, you know, just skinny. Now I'm 185. Come on. And so I needed one that fit a skinny guy, you know. And so I went to like Aloe and Lululemon, and I just liked the fit of those. And I started wearing Elliot everywhere. And this is before we had a team. And, you know, people would come up to me like, what is that? What is that? And they would ask me in the gym, and it would allow me to have a conversation. And I'm a sales guy. So you have to understand, if they have a conversation with me, I'm going to make a relationship with them, and I'm going to eventually probably sell them something. That's just how it works, okay? Most of y'all ain't having no damn conversations because you're not living out loud. I'm living out loud. I'm showing people what I'm doing. I'm putting statements on the back of the shirt that they're like, dude, I love that. You know how many people take a picture of the one that says, no rich parents, no handouts, straight hustle all day, every day when I'm on a plane, and ask me for that shirt every time I'm on the plane? I thought, man, this is super recognizable. Honestly, we didn't even make it to where it was like something super crazy. Just says simply Elliot. Now you see, we've got 100 salespeople walking around here that have these types of shirts on, that are branding our company. Could you do that? Yeah. Everywhere I went when I was in the car business, it was twins at Tiny. My shirts, the things that I said, my brand, every gym I went into, I was branding myself, okay? I reached 38 million people last month on social media between Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of these different things. That's pretty crazy, okay? You know, Andy reached a couple 100 million last month, okay? So I just got a little baby brand. But my little baby brand, I've been indoctrinating people, giving them all of this valuable advice for free. You're getting a lot of this valuable advice for free. Why? Because my brand is reciprocity. Now, will you have to know different things? Could I granularly go down every little subject and teach you how to build funnels and different things with branding and marketing and this strategy and that? Sure. But ultimately up front, I just want you to break free. Ultimately up front, I just want you to, that's my brand. My brand is value first, value in advance. And if I give so much value in advance, I have people call me, I don't get objections. You know why? Because since I've created myself as an authority in the market, there's a triangle. It's like this. I'll draw it right here on the screen. Triangle. First part, amateur. Everybody's objecting with them. Nobody knows who they are. They don't stand out. Second part, you're starting to become the expert. You're known on social media. People are starting to know who you are. Customers are less likely to object. You've gotten them from a referral, so referrals don't typically object. They're not typically in the market. Everybody's kind of speaking about you. And then you're the authority. Authority's like, man, most of your business is referrals. Most of your business is not outbound. It's inbound. They're coming to you. They see you. They know who you are. They're on your podcast. They're on your YouTube. They're on your Facebook. They're on your Instagram, and they are ready to do business. It's like our content is building apple trees, okay? There's apple trees and there's cash crops. Cash crops, every year you're having to redo those cash crops. Apple trees, you're seeding the market. Those apple trees are growing, and those apple trees are going to be there forever. They're going to continue to keep growing. Apples are just falling everywhere, right? That's like what content does. And so my content, 38 million people last month, I don't know, a lot of those people are going to buy right now. A lot of those people are going to buy over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, okay? But they're all talking. They're out there spreading the word, okay? And when you have that, that's how you really actually build a higher level of sales, because you're not having to deal with somebody that isn't knowing who you are. And the next step of that in that triangle is celebrity. That's when you're walking through the airport, every single person. That's the Andy. I might be the authority, and I'm going to explain that a little bit deeper, but the celebrity is like, they know who you are. They're ready for you to sign a book. They've watched you for years. You've established in the market that you're number one. You're flat out killing it, okay? When I became the authority in sales training and people started to really value what I was doing, I would receive calls from companies like, hey, will you come speak to my people? And honestly, I could put up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a day. So I was like, I don't really want to go out there for 2 days, you know? And so I told a company one time, I said, hey man, I don't want to come out there. I was charging 5 grand to come out there. I'm like, I'll charge 50, you know? And I started to think bigger, which is number 9. So I'm going to go into number 9 as I'm explaining this. And I remember that there was a company that I said, hey, when me and Andy first started, I said, I'm going to go out there. It's 5 grand. I'll be there for 6 days. We'll do this. We'll do that. And I did all of this stuff. It cost me more to go out there just in like my plane flight because I didn't know how to charge for that. But it changed my whole identity because I came back and this business, they were doing, a couple $100 grand a month, and a couple $100 grand a month. That's 30 days of work with the sales team. And within just a few days, they had done a couple hundred additional $1,000 in revenue. And that owner called me crying. He's like, dude, you're not going to believe this. Oh my God. I want to pay you another 5 grand, have you come out next month. And then I started thinking, well, I don't have equity in this company. And it was a lot of work. I want to do that for this guy. But at the same time, a good deal is a good deal for everybody. And the value that I can deliver in one day for a sales team is unreal. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. Let me sit down with your sales team. It's game over. I'll unlock them at a whole different level because I've done it for thousands of teams. Everything that they need to know, I'll hammer it out. So I told this guy 50 grand, just kind of joking around. He goes, okay, that's a good deal. I talked to this guy that knows you. Yeah, let's do it. So charged 50 grand. I went down there for the day. And because I had authority, he believed in it. Because I had authority of evidence in the market and evidence on YouTube and evidence in my career and evidence in what I've done, he was fine to pay 50,000 for the day. Now I'm charging 50,000 for the hour. If I'm going to go out and keynote your thing, it's 50,000 for the hour. People are like, oh, I don't even understand. I don't understand how people are paying that. Dude, listen, I could stay at my office and generate 50,000 in 5 minutes. I don't need to go travel outside of my office. Matter of fact, I don't even really want to do it. Okay? Andy's charging a couple $100,000 for the hour, right? So as your identity grows and as your brand grows, the value grows. And when you can not just be a salesperson, which this video is about, it's becoming the operator of the business. It's becoming the entrepreneur of the business. It's becoming the next level of the business. There's some people, they just stay on the salesperson line over here. They're a salesperson. They show up, they work, that's all they think about. I've always thought about, how do I create a business within the business? Okay, so I created a brand within the brand. Okay, I invested in my customers in the brand before I even had the money, and a lot of those things are the reason why my brand grew. I thought bigger than most people. Okay, I remember when we didn't even have a deal that was a 7-figure deal. And I had created so much value in this customer that I did business with, he was dying to do more. He's dying to do more. He's already invested a few $100,000. And I'm like, well, I know I could do X, Y, Z because number one, I've invested a lot of time and a lot of effort in myself. So I know I can solve these problems. If you go back to the identity, if you're not solving problems and growing your identity, you're never going to grow. I mean, I've been to some of the top schools in the world, like Harvard University, to learn all of these little things from leadership, from this thing, from that. Like, I'm gathering information from the top influencers, the top people who've actually done it, the top entrepreneurs, the guys that I have in my circle. We have a brotherhood. They pay $125,000 a year to be inside of that brotherhood. These are some of the top entrepreneurs in the world, billionaires, CEOs of big companies. I've sat with these people. I've grown with them. And they might be paying me, but I'm listening to them because I'm like, damn, what do you know that I don't know? That's the conversation that you want to bring into everything. Because I've been present in those conversations while some other people weren't, I've established some value that most people don't have. I've established a certain skill set that most people can't articulate and they don't have. So when I'm sitting with the guy and I'm like, hey, here's $1 million deal. Here's how we're going to do it. He's like, done. Let's do it. I know you got the skill. I know you got the authority. I know you got the skill sets. I know you got it. Let's do it. Well, that deal effectively paid me more in one day than I would have made a year in the former business that I was in that would have took me 365 days. My skill rose up. So I bought my time back. Now I can consult on this deal one time a month for a couple of hours a day, and boom, they're going to grow. They're going to make the money back probably within the first few weeks, and I'm making a way bigger commission that's even more valuable to me and more valuable to my time. So it all comes down to thinking bigger. If you're like, I can't do that, then that's a you problem. That's a leash, okay? Performance minus leashes equals growth, okay? So you're going to have to perform, but if you don't minus some of the things that you believe in, there's no growth. Performance minus leashes equals real growth. So highlight the performance. You're going to have to grow. You're going to have to think bigger. And then you're going to have to minus some of these leashes that are like, that's not for me. I can't do that. I'm not built that way. Go back to the learning. What if you start to say, how can I, instead of can I? There's two ways to think. How can I? Can I? That's in a video I'm getting ready to make. So go to this next video. I'll drop the link. And I'm going to teach you how to think bigger in a few minutes. Because how you think is who you become. Success is attracted to the person that's attractive. If you want to be more successful, stop thinking about how do I do it and start thinking about becoming it. Just become it. Become it. Become the type of person that can shepherd that type of blessing. What does that person need to do? How does that person need to think? Who does that person need to become? How does that person need to operate? How does that person need to be? And then, instead of thinking about just doing it on your own, go find the person that's already did it and walk in their shoes. You know, before I made $1 million, I walked around in a lot of people's shoes that made the million. Okay, I'm trying to make 10 million and I'm not making that. So I'm going to walk in that person's shoes and understand why that person thinks and does, how they operate. Okay, and then I'm not thinking about what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about what they're thinking about. And if you ever think that you can't do it, that's you thinking small. You got to get rid of that for your own self. Okay, and then the final tip, number 10, low ticket versus high ticket. A lot of people want to be the high ticket salesman. They see the high ticket commissions, the 200,000 commissions, 100,000, 50,000, 20,000, 10,000, all these things. but they can't even help somebody that's, spending $200. We built our company on broke people. We built our company on taking people from where they were at to where they wanted to go, no matter what they had. And because it was never about money, it's funny that money just flew. I see a lot of people that want to just go sell high ticket, but they just go from offer to offer to thing to thing. I just think it still comes down to your intention. My intention was to change lives. My intention was not to just make money. I had made money in my life and was miserable. I wanted fulfillment. I wanted purpose. I wanted duty. I wanted responsibility. I wanted respect. I wanted to do something that most people couldn't do, so it stopped becoming about money. When I got somebody on the phone and they were a 17-year-old kid, and I still sell people that are spending $99 with me. They'll call me and they're a referral to me. It's like, hey, it's on my 18-year-old kid. Nothing matters more to me than that person. I've been just as fulfilled closing a $2 million deal as I have a $99 deal for somebody that was on the edge, that didn't believe in themselves, that was going to quit sales. So if it's all about money for you and you're this high ticket closer, I don't know. I see a lot of those people broke, miserable, going from thing to thing. I don't want to be one of those people. So if you're getting into high ticket closing or whatever you're doing, understand that you might have to get good at motivating and helping people that don't have it just yet. And I really believe when God sees your heart and he knows that you're there for the right reasons, the right things will come. If you're just there trying to close the high ticket deal, by the way, those people can smell it. Those people can smell a salesperson. There's a different level of intelligence. Those people have salespeople. Those people have business strategists. Those people have access to resources that are insane. So there's a different level that you have to become. And I think one of the best ways that you become that is, number one, your intentions. And then going through helping people when it's not about money and really learning to get somebody from making 2,000 to 10,000. And if you can duplicate that and really help some people go from 2 to 10, from 10 to 15, and you're great at that, I'm the best at that. If you're good at that, then watch the high ticket doors open, because when you get on the phone with somebody, you're going to be so convicted that you're going to be able to help them. Okay. And then lastly, join our community. If you really want to grow your identity and who you are, you want to continue to grow in sales, you want to get the edge in your mindset, your health, everything, join our community. It's free to join. I've been telling you this. It's free to join. You can join right now. It's free to join. And my goal is to see you accomplish your goals. So hopefully this video has been helpful. Inside of the community, you have my 50 high ticket closes book. You can download it, and let me explain to you what that's going to do for you. You got to know these word tracks, okay? Like, here's a word track that when I was in car sales, I got to think about it. Of course you got to think about it. I haven't given you enough information not to think about it. What I'd like to do is give you a quick 5-minute proposal of all the facts and figures. That way when you go home, you truly have something to think about. Would that be fair? Okay. I know the word tracks, okay? There's all of these word tracks. The word tracks are free inside of the community. I want you to get in there and memorize the 5 of them. If I come into your business and you want to earn $1 million, but you don't know how to handle word tracks, you're never going to be able to service a customer that really can pay you those types of commissions, okay? You can get paid like a doctor in this business, or you can get paid like an amateur in this business. And it all depends on how you speak, how you talk, how you feel, how you lead, and all of these things that I went through today. And if you don't know these things, then you're just going to get in sales and blame the career, blame the offer, blame the job, go from thing to thing to thing, when really it was just you. Be plus do equals have. Become it. You're able to do it at a higher level. Then you're able to have it at an even higher level. So if you want the Lamborghini, you want the this, you want the that, you want all the cool stuff, become it. Become it so that you can do it even better, and then you can have it. A lot of people, they're not running that equation. They're just trying to have, and they're just trying to get. And those people never win. So if you're a person who wants to become it, join the community. I'd love to see you in there. Kick some ass. See you on the next video. Let's go.